Okay, thank you. All right, thank you for your indulgence. I would like to entertain a motion to appoint Andrea Molbeck to be secretary to the superintendent effective July 1st of this year. Huh? And district clerk. Do I hear a motion?
Motion. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations and welcome. Okay, so now we will get on with the rest of the agenda. First thing is a presentation about Smart Schools Investment Plan.
Part 2. As part of the, let me make sure I have it here. As part of our financing for the overall capital project, we are proposing to use some of our Smart Schools Investment Bond money to purchase additional door locks and door hardware, and cameras. These are considered enhanced security systems, and so the proposal, was created and put together by our school architect, SEI, along with one of our vendors, Day Automation. And so what we're looking for is the access control and upgrade campus-wide to a server for the door lock. So let me explain a little bit about how the door, just remind everybody how the doors are all going to work. All the interior classroom door mechanisms will be changed out during the regular capital project. It'll be a lock that includes, still has the capability for a turnkey as well as an interior lock, which some of them don't have. This project then allows us to add additional hardware to the door that would then, in effect, also create a card swipe system for the doors. So
On
the interior doors, these are the interior classroom doors. So this is the enhanced safety piece. So the doors then would remain locked. They would be card swiped in, and so that would take away some of the challenges we face now with our doors. However, at the same time, there would also still remain that opportunity for lock and key and manual. So you have both going on together. This proposal provides for that additional hardware as well as the servers to run the card swipe lock or the keypad lock or the lock. It also involves some extra security cameras. We have identified, but we have not made that public for obvious reasons, for obvious safety reasons, where we need to enhance camera surveillance throughout the district. This also includes some of the cameras that we would need in order to enhance visibility around the district.
What about exterior?
The exterior doors, we were looking at working with under our capital outlay project.
Are those going to be compatible with this system and controlled by the same system?
They'll be compatible, yes, because they're already card swipe now, our exterior doors. Yes, so it's the same system.
It is.
Yeah, so one ID badge will get you into your classrooms, those assigned to you, and then the exterior doors.
Okay.
Yep. But obviously, when you add a whole lot more of the systems, you will actually have to add additional servers and beef up your infrastructure for that, yes. So all of it works together, which is the point.
This is according to the original plan, as
Yep.
I recall.
All of this is part of the original plan. When we did the last kind of the word is missing me now, sorry about that, but when we did the last kind of review of what was going on, this was part of that financing piece. It is a total of about $300,000. You'll remember that we have about $1.15 million as part of our Smart Schools Act, and our SSIP 1 was about 400, Chris help me, 499?
SSIP 1, no, after
No.
we did the revision,
Oh.
it was down to 388.
388 and change, so,
And is that only a third?
yep.
I don't remember the roll-in that you were doing. Was it 1, 2, 3?
388 is the total dollar amount. Each of the rollouts are roughly $100,000, so about 100, 100, 100, and then the balance of 88-ish.
So we'd still have excess capacity
Yes.
left over.
Yep.
right?
Yes,
Correct.
and so then that money could be used for other purposes, either other technology purposes or other security enhancements. So this was part of it all along, and if you will also recall, the Smart Schools Bond Act requires the following things. An initial presentation to the Board of Education, a 30-day review period with comment on the district website, so that will go up tomorrow. At the end of the 30 days, we will take in any comments that the board or the community may have, make any revisions, and it comes back to the board for final approval before submission to state ed.
Is this for all doors in all schools?
Yes.
Okay, any questions or comments? And I had two questions. Part of this project is there's going to be a change in the access controllers.
Right.
And I was wondering what that change was.
Mhm.
And then the other question was, the control doors to all three buildings are going to be changed, and I was wondering what that change involved.
So right now, our access control to our classrooms are lock and key, right? They're all lock and key. So the access controllers are to use the swipe. So that's the difference for the controller units, the units actually on the doors, and then the access controllers are the wireless hub and the software that's required to run it. Because it'll all be wirelessly accessed.
So does this enable any district employee then to swipe any door even if they don't have a key to it?
Not necessarily, because we don't have that access now for external doors. Our director of facilities has people have access appropriate to their use within the building.
That could be programmed.
Yeah, it's programmed. So much like some people have keys to their classrooms, but not keys to other classrooms, it's the same concept, now it's just wireless and
I
electronic.
was just thinking from like emergency perspective, that's why that's.
There will always be a few individuals, like there is now within the district, who have access. That would be, right now, me and Mr. May and myself.
And then what is the difference in the entry doors? Why are we replacing those?
The exterior doors,
Yeah.
those aren't part of this project, this is all the interior. Let me see where you're looking at, what specific.
Go ahead.
It's upgrading the actual access control. So outside of this exterior door, there's that swipe badge. Any of the existing ones under this, they're taking that over. It's a new HID reader, essentially an upgraded reader.
It's the readers.
And then there's also, I believe, 4 new readers going in across the district. So they take over and upgrade the existing and then adding more to it. It's not the actual physical doors.
Oh, but it says here, provide and install 4 new exterior access control doors.
That's the access, that's the readers, right, Chris?
Oh, it says new doors.
I'd have to double check with Day. I didn't think there were any
It's at the
SEI.
bottom of the scope of
Yeah,
work.
yeah,
If you see that,
I think there's a word
there's
missing.
number 3, the third dot. Yep. It says new doors, and I didn't know why we would be doing that other than just changing the controllers.
Mr. DiPaolo has been identified as the point of contact for SSIP2, since he will be consistent. And so how about if we have him, Chris, would you please follow up on that?
Absolutely.
And then we'll look at, thank you.
Chris, associated with that, I'm just reading that, the bus garage having 2 versus the schools actually having 1, that logic doesn't kind of flow for me. So understanding that would be helpful, right? Because we have a lot of people go through our schools, not so many people go through our bus garage.
Yeah, and maybe we already have some of the controls, but let's find that out. Yeah, that's a good question.
So what was the purpose of putting in those, just out of curiosity, purpose of putting in the swipes for all the classroom, why not just keep these?
When we were working with our architect and Day Automation, it was really a security, it was an enhanced security feature that allows the doors to stay locked all the time and just provides for enhanced, it really just provides for enhanced security. Somebody comes in, they definitely can't get in any door without a key swipe.
Extra security first.
Yeah, it's extra security. Okay. And one of the things also from a teacher perspective, some of our classrooms Right now, in order to lock the door, you actually have to go out into the hallway. There's no interior mechanism
Okay.
for locking the door. That's a
So-
huge, that's in some classrooms, that's also in the
Okay,
gym.
so,
So
so
now-
what you're saying is that the swipe thing will be on the outside
Outside,
and
yes.
the inside?
No, just on the
For them to be
outside.
able to lock it.
It'll stay locked all the time.
You can open it from
You
the inside.
can open it from the inside, you have to for fire egress. So the door's locked from the outside. With the
So-
cart, with the swipe on the outside to get in.
So basically, like right now, I'm just,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just trying to
Yep, but
understand it. So right now, there's a key to get into, say, this room.
Correct.
Okay, and if it's unlocked, then anybody can get
Anybody
in
can
here.
walk in.
But if we have just swipe thing, it's automatically gonna close, which means every time student
Yep.
goes to the bathroom or whatever, it's gonna lock,
Yes.
which means we're gonna have to get up and
Perhaps.
unlock.
Or
every
perhaps,
time.
it depends on how you choose your bathroom, has to go to use. Your pass could be a swipe card just for that classroom.
Oh, is that gonna be available?
Well, you would, we don't, could be, yeah.
Decide.
Suppose it comes back.
Oh, I'm just thinking from a logistic point
Right.
of view.
Or if you, or
When
you
you're
would,
teaching,
yeah.
if kids get up to go to the bathroom or go to the nurse or whatever, it's
Right.
gonna interrupt
Yes.
the flow every time. So that's, people coming in
Yeah.
late, you know, it's gonna interrupt that flow,
Yeah.
so.
Well, where you could put key every student.
That would, you know, that would be defeat.
I mean, there's always, well, no. It still secures the room. You can still control who has access to that room.
Yeah.
Based on schedule now. There's a whole bunch of options.
yeah, there's a bunch of.
The programming on these swipes is endless.
Yeah.
All kinds of, you do times, like if they only work from outside, there's a lot of different ways to improve that.
So there will be no way for the teacher to lock it from the inside?
Yes.
It's automatically going to be locked?
Yes, and we will still have the old fashioned, where we will still have a manual lock as well. So say the system fails, say the threat becomes,
For some reason,
the
yeah.
wireless goes down, or we have sun flares like we must be having tonight, that there is still the manual opportunity in the event of a wireless failure for the teacher's locker door. From the inside, because right now we don't have, we do
Right,
not have
right.
that for everybody now.
Okay.
And if the door is locked from the inside, does the swipe open it if the teacher got locked out? I mean, is that's a default that the swipe is gonna open?
Probably not if it's locked from the inside. We'll have to ask Gary that question.
That's a great question.
Yeah, it's a great question, yeah.
Yeah, the teacher steps
You got
out
that
of the
right.
room and
That
students
question?
lock
No,
from
I-
out.
If it's a manual lock from the inside, would the swipe card work on the outside?
Okay,
All
In
right.
other words, a student, if the teacher walks out, the student locks the teacher out. We
I
want to
think the
ensure that
manual
that
only
couldn't,
works if the
that
wireless
the teacher
goes
could
out.
still get back in.
Yeah, right.
yep.
I'm pretty sure that the manual is really if the wireless goes down.
I could see that happening.
I do too.
It's a
But
great
I'm pretty
question.
sure it doesn't work that way. But we'll have Chris check on for everybody.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, so we will revisit this next, in the June meeting. Okay, so the next thing on the agenda is the student representative report. Take it away.
So the first question was, can we have the numbers in the parking lot repainted? And actually, that parking spaces aren't assigned, but some students thought they were. So that was just miscommunication. So they don't need to be repainted because it was just the numbers. It must just be my friend group that thought we had parking spaces. I don't know why, but people park in the same spot every day anyway. And then can we look into buying a different brand of tissues? And Mr. May is looking into that right now. And there was a miscommunication about the allergy to essential oils, but staff has been informed and it's being dealt with. So there was just a miscommunication between the student and faculty, but it's being fixed now. And then this question we forgot to talk about, but we're going to talk about it. I know there's like legality issues issues, but I was just wondering if there was any way we could reuse or recycle some unused cafeteria food for our students. And then BOCES students, you have to eat their lunch during class, and they were wondering if there's any way that will change, and the scheduling committee is trying to find a way to fit more time for them to eat into it, so hopefully that works. And then Autism Awareness Day had really good participation, and it went great, and prom also went very well.
Thank you. Okay, then the next question, next thing is the capital project update.
All right, so things started in earnest this week. Over break, there was some asbestos abatement that occurred at East Hill that was very successful. I sent out to the board and to the community an update about that. This week, on Monday, we began the demolition on the interior of the 2 classrooms at the middle school for the new offices. It is amazing what they are doing in a very short period of time. And what is equally amazing is when you walk in there during the day, unless you looked to the right and through those classroom doors, you would never know there's anything happening in that building. So that is fantastic. They're cleaning up. There is no disruption to the school day. The track and field work has started. It has been severely hampered by our incessant rainy spring. However, today they were there, and they were there well into this evening trying to make up for lost time. What we have done is to also close the pathway and between the high school and the East Hill Middle School complex for safety purposes, and to ensure that students are not trying to sneak around the "don't go there" signs. We place custodians at each end, at the beginning and at the end of the school day. So we're going to offer students the opportunity who want to walk out and around up Maple Ave, down Birch, and up Maple to the high school. For our younger students who may come up here to meet parents, they're happy they can hop on any school bus at East Hill and right up here to the high school and get off. So those are the things that we're doing. The track and field team has been inconvenienced a little bit because of this renovation. We are working with them to try, and they have done I have to give Coach Miller and Coach Stuttle a ton of credit. We have tried to access other schools' fields for practice when we can, and when we cannot, they have come up with a really smart idea on how to hold practices here. So they're working on that. As with any capital project, there's going to be things we can't anticipate and things we have to work on, but we're just trying to problem solve as we go along. So far, we're in good shape.
I had a question on the great room floor. I thought it was supposed to get put back in.
It is going to be put back in. The materials have not arrived yet.
Okay, because it seemed like a waste that we took it out and now it's not usable and there's no floor.
Right. Well, there is some moisture. There is some, there is some moisture reduction that they're doing. There's some things they're doing, and I apologize because that's
okay.
not the right word. But they're doing some work in preparation for when the materials arrive. So there are things happening. It has to do with mitigating moisture or dealing with a moisture barrier.
They didn't anticipate that.
No, they anticipated it. They did, yeah. We were just held up in our delivery of the materials for the actual floor tiles.
So are they still thinking they're gonna get it in?
They are ready to move on it as soon as the materials arrive. So the delay is in the materials.
Is that gonna be here this school year, or are we gonna be doing recess outside and
We are,
in their rooms as it's occurring now?
right, we will hopefully have it in before the end of the school year, yes. We're working on that. So that is something that they're working on. They're ready to go as soon as the materials arrive.
Any other questions or comments?
I was just wondering why there was a delay, that's all. In materials.
With the materials, there
Yeah,
was,
why there was
yeah,
a
that we had chosen a design, and the design we had chosen, there was a mismatch between the design and the size of the floor tiles, so they had to go back and make some design changes.
I just have one suggestion, which is that we should take pictures and post them, both on the website and on our Facebook pages,
Okay?
to show some of the progress that's going on and give people not just the written, but let them see it. You know, as we're going along and as the different things are happening, I think that would be, you know,
Sure.
useful and fun. Okay, anything else on that? Then moving right along to board goals update.
Okay, hopefully yours will stay. All right, really, there isn't a whole lot of additional information other than we did successfully, go back up to the top, please, recommend and have the board approve Mrs. Melbeck as our new superintendent secretary and board clerk. So that goal is now complete. The rest of them, the curriculum and instruction goal, we have Schedule 10A that is running through some mock-ups, and the committee has a scheduled meeting that we just need to finalize for that. And go down further, SSIP 1 is at state ed with all of the revisions, and has passed the finance, the Department of Budget Finance, the Department of Budget and Management review, and the rollout plan for the one-to-one was reviewed by the tech committee. They made some revisions based on the last meeting, and I'll ask Chris just to share those, please, and revise their rollout. So Chris, if you would, please.
At the last board meeting, when we gave the update, there was some concern mainly around 9th and 10th grade students. They follow each other in a bunch of classes, and we had proposed doing the rollout in 9th grade and also in 8th grade. We revised that. We're going to do the rollout. The first rollout will 9th and 10th grade will go 1-to-1, and the cart of 30 Chromebooks that was going to be allocated to the 10th grade, that will be allocated to the 8th grade. So essentially, we flipped the 8th and the 10th grade in terms of the phase of the rollout. So now the 8th grade will be in phase 2 of the rollout. So it was a minor flip, but it worked nicely, I think, across the board.
I have a question. The scheduling committee, do we have a schedule for next year? I'm confused by this.
We are still, when the committee presented at the last meeting, we had Schedule 10A, which was the last of the schedules. Mrs. Lenz and Ms. Gleason are running it through some mock students, and we were looking to run it through our training site on School Tool, but that became so time and labor intensive, we wouldn't finish the work. So Mrs. Lenz and Ms. Gleason are running some student models through it. The committee's scheduled to meet next week to review what we have learned. And hopefully, we'll hear good things, and then we'll be done.
And then when will students receive their schedules?
I'm not going to answer that question right now, mainly because we have to wait and see if this schedule version works. And then we'll build a timeline from there.
Okay.
Okay?
Any other questions, comments on those? So we'll move ahead to approvals. I would like to entertain a consent agenda on the approvals, except for minutes, because I will need to abstain from minutes and anything else besides. So, can I have a motion for the consent agenda for B through M?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, opposed? All right, very good, so we'll start with the minutes. March 28th. Any questions or comments?
Need a motion first, please.
Motion on March 28th.
I'll make the motion.
Second? Okay, any comments or questions?
Do we have any, I don't know if this is the appropriate time, maybe afterwards, for follow-up on certain things, like the concerns about the dueling in the bathroom and things like that Ms. Stanley brought up? I was just curious as to how that was going, if we were gonna get any updates.
I have.
Would that be under old business? That's fine. It's nothing to do with that.
Should.
Okay. But I can wait, it's fine.
Rules, okay, any other questions, comments on what's needed? I know we had put this one off to this meeting, I don't remember why.
Yes, because
It was not finished.
it was not finished.
Oh, okay, thank you.
What got posted wasn't complete.
Right.
I just have no recollection of why.
That's
Okay, good. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thought we did consent.
No, except for the,
Oh, sorry.
and abstain, me. Okay, then we have the minutes for April 11th meeting. Any comments or questions on that?
Motion, please.
Oh, sorry, motion,
Motion.
Second.
thank you. Okay, anything? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Very good, then we have April 11th.
April 17th.
That one, April 17th, sorry.
Second.
We had a motion and a second. Any,
Second.
okay, any questions or comments on that? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, then we are on to bills. I'm sorry, transfers. Okay, budget transfers, any comments or questions? No? Nope, then we'll move along to bills. Any questions or comments there? None? Okay, then we'll move ahead to treasurer's report. Any comments or questions there? And I did some counts, but I won't even talk about it.
It's fair.
Okay, the AIA contractor agreement.
Information.
Okay. Take it away.
So yes, I wanted to provide some information from the last board meeting. If you'll remember, there was a question about contractor penalty relating to section 5.2.11. So I have some additional information about how the process works in the public arena, or at least in this arena. Our contractors have all submitted a schedule of values for the work that they complete. As items are completed, contractors submit for payment of the completed items on a rolling basis. The architect and the construction management firm verify that the work is completed according to specifications. And payment is made less a 5% retainage. Yes, and the word is retained. So I learned all this today. Those are good to learn. Yes, but just for everybody else, as each payment is made, a 5% retainage is held back and accumulates. When the project gets to the point where substantial work is completed, the architect and the construction manager create the punch list, the final punch list, and I'm sure we've all heard of those. Those are the final items that must be complete in order for the project to be considered completed. These items are all assigned a dollar value, and that is multiplied times 2. So when we hit the substantial completion part, we then pay down the retainage to the punch list value times 2, and that amount is retained until all work by the contractor is completed according to specifications.
Perfect.
So now you all know that, and I will put all these notes in the notebook for Nick. So that answers your question, Scott.
Yep, perfect.
Okay, so, I guess I would ask, is there any questions? There's 2 contracts, on the agenda, E and F, on both to AIA. Is there any question on either of those? Other than what was just discussed.
These are the standard contracts. They just came in past the point when we post information for the last board meeting. That's why they're on this board agenda.
Okay, we'll move along to G, contract for services, Anderson Center for Autism. Any comments or questions there? I had a question, which is that I didn't see any dollar amount for that contract. They said, they mentioned an addendum, but it's not included. I'm hoping and assuming that that was in there, or not.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
There's two page sixes.
Down.
Yeah, there's
There it is.
way all the way to down there.
Yep,
Okay.
way down the bottom, last page. Keep going.
Oh, we do have a pen
Keep
sorry.
on.
I didn't go far enough, sorry.
You get that white page and you flip it over. No,
Is this new or?
Nope, we've had this one for 4 years.
I think I saw that space after the signatures, and I figured that was it.
Done.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any other questions on this? Okay. Then we have Family Counseling Center, MOA.
This is for our crisis counselor. It's just through the family counseling center.
No changes.
Have we always used the family counseling?
What are we on? Last year? We just started with this for the crisis counselor.
The only reason I was asking, because I know like on our budget thing, it said that we discontinued Catholic Charities. So
Yes,
it was
that's
just-
different one. Yep.
Okay, it's,
Okay, any other questions on that? Okay.
Do we have measures of satisfaction that we're using to determine that we should do it?
For us, and how, yeah, so yes, I can load your data.
Okay, is that it for that one? Then we have the Arkell Hall transfer agreement. I assume this is the same one that we did previously.
Yes, every year, yeah.
Okay, just for the people, that's for if something happens, an emergency happens and people need to be evacuated from Arkell Senior Center, then they will be able to be housed here for whatever, for emergency. Any questions there? Okay, tax refund, anything there? Okay, surplus items, anything there?
my question is, what, are we selling these items? Are we auctioning them off? Or what happens with that?
These items are all unusable.
Unusable.
Sometimes we do surplus items that are maybe usable to someone else. We do at times access an auction house to take care of some of our items that we surplus. These particular two lists are all items that have well
They're
exceeded.
finished.
They're done, their use, yes.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
Oh,
The
the
van
van,
will go on
the
there.
van is one that will go on.
Gary will put some of them
Yeah.
on the auction list.
What happens to the money from that?
Goes into the general fund. Thank you.
Sorry. What are we doing with the items that are finished? Are we just disposing of them?
One of the questions I raised is, some of the tech stuff and also some of the furniture and all. I said, well, if it's just gonna be junk, is there any people that might find it usable? And I was informed that it's all trashed and no longer functioning or usable, so.
Chris, can you talk a little bit about the technology?
Absolutely, technology-wise, the things that kind of would jump out of you on there are maybe the monitors. We're talking first, if we still have CRT monitors downstairs, which are the old big tube back. We're talking first generation LCD, so these are 2001, 2002. We have a shelf full of spares, just in case in a jam, if someone who's still using a monitor needs one. But we're talking end of life, 17, 18-year-old technology, but also at the point where they stopped using the amount of precious metals that they used in the old CRT monitors. When the CRT was the norm, they actually did profit sharing and revenue sharing to when they'd harvest that metal, you get some of that back. There's so little of it now, essentially we don't pay for them to take it, so it's win-win. In talking to Mr. May, the last auction that we did for monitors and technology, we literally made the exact dollar amount that the auction cost us, so we factor in man hours to, display and post all those things, to move those things, it just didn't pay for itself.
Some of those things I have to pay to dispose of.
Some of the things that we pay for generally for disposal, because they still can harvest metals out of this, really are around like light bulbs, ballasts for fluorescent lights, the other piece that's in fluorescent lights. The firm we're going with now is actually more cost efficient. I provided Mr. May when we had the last pickup of technology, the cost sheet for all the light bulb related things, and he said they were roughly 60 to 70% cheaper than the old firm we were using. So they picked those up at the same time. We had 4 pallet slots picked up last time, 3 technology, 1 light bulb. The next pickup will be 4 pallets of technology, just because the monitors are hard to stack. It's basically single level. And then they'll bring a box and pick up all the 8-foot light bulbs that we have for disposal. So the firm is very efficient.
Are we keeping a DVD VHS player somewhere?
Yeah, these are ones that broke in trays.
These are ones.
So they're just ones that,
No, I'm being serious.
I don't know, we still have them.
Those things
yeah.
get expensive.
there are a
Wait.
surprising amount of VHS players around certain
Exactly.
buildings.
I will say, the last time I was on a trip, I went to a motel and I got a very cheap price, and one of their big come-ons was flat screen TV. So they apparently got.
There is a delightful 13-inch Sanyo tube television in the basement. If anyone would like it, I'll take it off the pallet.
Okay, anything else on that? Alrighty, then we have transportation requests. Any questions or comments on that? Other than why are they all after April
Yeah, they're
1st?
so late.
Because Wayne, I discussed this at the last meeting, because Wayne was not, that was not on Wayne's list. And remember, this is Wayne's first year, and these did not come in before the April meeting. I didn't get them in. They were all notified, and there's nobody new, it's all our understandings.
So when you, I just want to confirm, what you mean by that is Wayne didn't solicit them to do a
Yes, he
form?
was not sure, he was not
Okay.
aware that he was supposed to.
Gotcha.
So he has marked that on his
Marked.
list
Gotcha.
for next year. Yep.
Okay, and then we have the substitute list. Any comments or questions there? Okay, I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda. I did that already. All in favor of the consent agenda?
I,
Opposed? Abstained? Thank you. Now we're on to old business. I had a thing about old business, which is from the previous meeting. We had talked about a survey on communications in the district, and so we want an update on that.
So, our communication specialist, Sarah Wheeler, has provided me a list of questions for the survey. I just have to review the questions, and then we'll get the survey published and out to the users. So we have questions, they're under review.
And then you had.
I had a question on just the follow-up to hers, and you might not have the answer to this because I was just looking at it today. It was what the juuling situation was, and also the students arriving late and not participating in sports, if that was clarified or if that was how that was working. So it was from Ms. Stanley's report. So you might, like I said, you might not have that today. It was just something that I was curious if you had thought.
As we stated in the prior meeting, and then I'll ask Ms. Gleason to talk about some upcoming activities with the staff, we have Officer Peruzzi doing a little more patrol around the buildings to try and make sure that we are getting those restrooms as they need be, and to help empower our staff some more, Ms. Gleason.
We have, Jen actually gave me her contact information. They have like an anti-tobacco overall that's trying to educate people about the jewels and things like that. And Patrice, who works for Catholic Charities, is gonna come to the faculty meeting on May 14th and share some of that information with people. Just the look-fors, because every day they're changing what they look like, how they're selling them, all of those things. So she's gonna try and give us the most up-to-date information about what's out there.
Do we have cameras, thank you. The cameras, you know, in the different places, I mean, obviously we can't put them in the bathrooms, we
Right.
can't put,
We cannot put them in the bathrooms, we do have them in the hallways. There are such things now as vape sensors. So we are taking a look at those and what the cost of those might be, so we're investigating that so that you could have something that would sense it. Sometimes, if students make a choice that they really prefer a strong jewel scent, like peppermint, sometimes you can catch it that way. We
Yeah.
have in the past actually identified some students because they choose something that has such a strong odor to it. But there are such things as vape sensors, so we are exploring that option.
You have something you want to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to say also, gym teachers have been patrolling the locker rooms more than what they used to.
Oh, good.
I'm sorry, who is?
Gym teachers.
Great, thank you. And then the students arriving late was the
Oh,
other.
Scott, I'm sorry.
Chris?
Just to chime in on the vape sensors, Eric from SEI actually reached out to him to see if him in conjunction with Day Automation had used anything in any other CAP projects. I'm just waiting to hear back. In a conversation with Mrs. Grimshaw and Officer Cruzy, the availability of those things came to mind. I also have an answer after you're done talking with us about the door hardware from before I emailed Eric from SEI. He's already done that.
My question was on the education component that you talked about. Does it involve an awareness campaign with students? Because I heard faculty mentioned a lot in there, so I really wanted to understand what's going on the student side.
The same group that is coming to the faculty meeting has also offered to do programming for the students, like pamphlets, that sort of stuff, especially during lunch periods where there's high traffic, and set up a table in there to do, come and see, and they have more interactive type, call it activities, of, like the flavors, and like a flavor doesn't necessarily mean that it's not tobacco, it's not excluding nicotine. So they try to make it more interactive, so they've also agreed to do that.
Has that started or?
No, we're gonna have the teachers get an idea of the baseline knowledge so they can have conversations after.
It is covered in our health classes, both the freshman health seminar and the regular requirement class.
From an education.
From an education.
I meant more of an
But
awareness
right,
campaign.
that would be this next.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I think the peer campaign is probably gonna be more powerful than anything else.
Do we have consistent consequences, because this is a new type thing, the whole big thing, is there, like, I don't know if there's a lot of,
Nicotine, tobacco.
it follows the
It
same
follows the
thing.
same thing.
We've actually added under our school tool, it's no longer just tobacco, cigarettes, it's vaping as well.
Yeah.
It's on there.
Anything else under business?
Oh, the student,
Students arriving late.
Oh,
right,
maybe there's another
yes,
one.
the information is out, or has been out. I've not heard anything. The school nurse has information posted in her doorway as well. There have been no concerns.
There's been no issues.
No issues at all, no, good. We try to get more information out there.
I am done with old business. Any new business? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn into executive session.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Sorry.
Thank you very much, everyone, and once again, welcome, Andrea.